The Athletic, meanwhile, report that Jim Ratcliffe is so unimpressed with the alternatives to Erik Ten Hag that he might decide just to keep him on because everybody else sucks.
Gab.
This is the report. Don't shoot the messenger.
Cannot be true. What? So Jim Ratcliffe is looking at Thomas Tuchel and saying, nah, Erik Ten Hag is much better than this guy. He's looking at Roberto De Zerbi and he goes like, nah, Erik Ten Hag is much better.
Can I come up with something? Sorry. Tuchel, mental breakdown in his last time he was in the Premier
League. I can give you Thiago Motta, I can give you managers.
And Bayern fire him early in the season. No, but these are the managers presumably Ratcliffe knows, right? De Zerbi, it feels like he's lost 15 games in a row now and being a pain in the butt with the club, right? So maybe, who knows, right?
I mean,
devil's advocate for Sir Jim? No.
If Sir Jim Ratcliffe thinks nobody's better than Erik Ten Hag that I can get to my club, Manchester United. This is not Macclesfield. This is Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world. If really, then I think all hope is lost, United fans.
I think this is some kind of switch misdirection.
Yeah, this must be. Premier League clubs voted in principle of something called anchoring in an informal vote on Monday, Gab. This is basically a spending cap, right?
Yeah, basically. So
please explain it, but like simply for people like me who don't really understand.
All right, very simply, the league comes out and says, okay, you can only spend, and by spend we mean spending on wages, spending on transfers, but amortized, and spending on agents.
Yeah.
In the course of a season, we put all your spending on players, all this in a bucket, and it can't be more than 5 times what the bottom club in the Premier League gets from central broadcast and commercial rights, or media rights, essentially, right? So that figure would be something in the region of, depending if they use a multiple of 5 times or 4.5 times, all TBD, would be like something like 450, 500 million pounds, something like that. Real Madrid's budget, because they have a similar version in La Liga, although with a different criteria where it's a percentage of revenue, is something in the order of 727, which presumably is why certain clubs like Manchester City and Manchester United voted against them. They feel it would put them at a disadvantage towards Europe. Others would look at this and say, hey, look, players are our biggest expense. This is a way to keep the cost down. And this way we become profitable more quickly.
True.
I don't think it's going to happen in this format. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a ratio. I think there's too much of an onus on. If you're United, why would you ever agree to anything like this?
And if your wage bill is already 400 million or something, it doesn't leave you much.
Well, it would be tiered presumably over time and blah blah blah. But all right. Premier League referees boss Howard Webb has confirmed that at least one of the incidents in that Everton v Nottingham Forest game that so angered Forest, the one where they said Stuart Atwell's a Luton fan, was mishandled. Does this submission make things better, Jules?
You know what I think about those Howard Webb stand-up show? I think it's great that he comes out and explains things. It's really late. Well, it's usually quite late after the incidents anyway. It doesn't change anything. We all knew that at least on those 3 penalty shouts, one of them was valid. We said together, at least we thought 2 of the 3 should have been pens.
And probably all of them should have been reviewed.
Yeah, you're right. I think Howard Webb is quite nice to his own referee and VAR referee by saying, they only made a mistake on 1. They should have had 1, but the other 2, they got it right. Like, come on.
So the Ashley Young on Callum Hudson and the door, they have something called the key match incident panel where they have like a panel of 5
is it?
ex-players, coaches, refereeing nerds. And they sit down and they vote by a vote of 5-0. It was a penalty.
Yeah. And when you listen to the audio, the VAR with the referee, the VAR goes, well, I think it's like get together. Come together. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Can I make a rule? Like, honestly, just get rid of that stupid term, coming together. Honestly, I don't know.
What does that even mean?
It's coming to football parlance in this language, in this country, like 10, 15 years ago. It's one of those terms like general play, which are completely meaningless and stupid, and which I absolutely hate. Coming together, by the way, I think is worse than general play. Jules, we all saw the spat between Jurgen Klopp and Mohamed Salah this past weekend, but what do you make of Michael Antonio turning into a sideline reporter?
I don't know. I haven't seen this. What's the story?
Oh, he came out and he basically said, he appeared on some BBC podcast, and he's like, oh, well, from what I hear, this is what happened between Salah, and had to do with Salah coming on, not getting dressed, not getting a hug from Klopp.
Wow. I love that.
Okay,
hey,
you're on board with this.
Come on. Brilliant. Finally, we get all the details.
Tottenham take on Chelsea at Stamford Bridge on Thursday night, and we've had confirmation that Timo Werner and Ben Davies will be out for the rest of the season. Jules, they've got those 2 games in hand on Aston Villa, but they're 7 points back. What's your percentage chance that we see them in the Champions League next season?
Yeah, I mean, that defeat against Arsenal, I think, was a big blow for that. They still have to play Chelsea on Thursday night, we said, and Liverpool and City. They will have Burnley and Sheffield United as well. But the Liverpool and the City games are obviously very tough, like the Chelsea one. And for Villa, who obviously are still in Europe, they're playing Olympiacos in the Conference League semi-finals, but Brighton, Liverpool and Palace for the last 3 games in the Premier League seems maybe more doable. So I think Villa will finish 4th. It's a shame for Spurs that 5th place, which I think a lot of English people and even English clubs took for granted at the start of the season. They really thought that 5th place would go to England. It didn't.
Thank Ten Hag for that. Why don't we blame Ten Hag for that too?
Exactly, Ten Hag. Thank you very much. So I don't know. I'll give them a chance still because anything is possible. But I don't think Villa will collapse, and I don't even think that Spurs would win. They should win all the games to still have hope. I don't think they will. So I'll go 75-25.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Something like that, you know. And I think it's a shame because Ange, for all the good he's done, I think probably deserved. It would be great to finish with the Champions League qualification as a reward for the club, for the team, and the way they're rebuilding and the way the momentum is taking them. I think he will be only Europa League.
So it's Pierre-Emile Højbjerg's fault.
Oh, I like him though. And his name is
you
French.
just like it because he's part French.
Yeah, exactly.